Hi, I'm Marie Jerard, Director of Yoga Teacher Training at Aura Wellness Center in North Providence, Rhode Island. The following instructional video has been designed to give guidance to interns and teachers for a basic lesson plan. So we're going to start with shoulder rolling, and we'll do a few variations of shoulder rolling. This is low impact. And then reverse it. Another variation of shoulder rolling, we're going to go this way, like this, so I go right hand outside and then right hand inside, and then reverse. Again, switching hands each time. Right hand outside, right hand inside, and so on. Okay, the next one we're going to move into is arm swings. So as we do arm swings, we're going to go back and forth, and you want to come up on the ball of the back foot, or even on the toe, and get the whole body . Good. The next thing we're going to move into is waist circles. So waist circle is parallel to the floor, and you start to work it deeper, deeper circle, bigger circle. And then reverse, big circle, stop there. Here we go. And reverse. I'm going about 8 revolutions. And extend. I'll switch back to the other side. And here we go. Reverse. And extend. Good. Standing spinal wave. We're going to move into the standing spinal wave. We're going to draw your shoulder blades into each other on your inhale, and then on your exhale, you're going to round your back off. And as you round your back off, you bring your chin as close as you can to your collarbone for a chin lock, and begin to inhale and rise. And as you rise, draw your shoulder blades in. And again, exhale. Roll your back up as much as you can. All the way to a chin lock, stomach collapses. And begin to inhale. And right here, draw your shoulder blades into each other. And we're going to start to do a little bit of a back bend as we start to get deeper into this one. And then exhale. Round your back off. And begin to inhale and rise. And draw your shoulder blades in. Good, and we're going to do one more. Exhaling, round your back off. Stomach collapses and chin locks. And begin to inhale and rise. Release the chin lock when your head passes your shoulders. Good, relax. Okay, next thing we're going to do is palm tree bows. So we're going to inhale up here. Some of you know this is half moon. And I'm not holding it for a long time. Now, as I start to work this, you could exhale to one side and then inhale to your opposite side. Don't force the spine, you're still doing warm-ups. Back to center. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is dynamic breathing. So I move my feet out like this and my hands are like this. And what I'm going to do is inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale up and relax. Okay. We're going to go into a series of movement. The next one is the palm tree series. We're going to interlock your fingers in front. Inhale up. This is called touch the sky. And exhale, turn. Inhale, opposite side. Exhale, half moon. Inhale, opposite side. Exhale, swaying palm. Inhale, opposite side. And exhale, I'm going to swan dive into an earth touch or a forward bend. Good. And now we're going to inhale up slow and repeat the same series. Inhale all the way up to touch the sky. Exhale, turn. Inhale, opposite side. Exhale, half moon. Inhale. Exhale, swaying palm. Inhale. And swan dive into earth touch. Good. And come up slow. Okay. I'm going to go into a ragdoll series right here. So you're going to draw your shoulder blades into each other. Fingers are interlocked behind you, and you make sure that you don't hyperextend your elbow. And right here, the next thing I'm going to do is roll down all the way down to this point right here. Now, you're going to let your arms hang right here in ragdoll. The next thing you could do, depends on the person, you could go around in a circle. Some people call this elephant. If you feel like you're easily able to touch the floor with your wrists, then the next thing might be to bring your arms and fold them up and start to work around in a circle. Still doing elephant. Good. And then you're going to reverse in the opposite direction. Good. And from right here, I'm just going to let my body hang right here. Put your hands under your feet if you like. And you're going to inhale up and exhale down. And inhale up and exhale down. Now I'm going to go to the right. Inhale and exhale. Going to the left. And now inhale right and exhale left. And I'm going to release my hands out from here. I'm going to come up slow and come up to my knees. I'm going to do a spinal wave right here. I'm going to inhale up and exhale, round your back off. This is a much shorter spinal wave, and you're going to inhale up and exhale, round your back off. One last one. Inhale up and exhale. Now inhale, come all the way up. Okay, when you get to this point, some of you might want to get some circulation back into the back of the upper legs. So what I'm going to do here is I've got 90% of my weight on this leg and 10% of my weight on this one. We're doing a knee circle, and this also works the hips. And then I'm going to reverse it. Good. And we're going to switch. Good, and reverse it. It's important not to put a lot of weight on this leg. So I'm not trying to grind away at the knee. I'm trying to do it as low impact as possible. We'll stop right there. Okay, the next thing I'm going to go into is a sun salutation. So we're going to inhale here. And exhale into Namaste Mudra. Inhale into a chair pose. Exhale into a forward bend. I'm swan diving in. Inhale, monkey. Now monkey, I've got my back parallel to the floor. And exhale into push-up. Inhale into a cobra. Exhale, roll your toes under into dog face down. Inhale, walk forward. Back into monkey. Exhale into your forward bend. Inhale, chair pose, and exhale all the way back to mountain pose. I'm going to take a little time in mountain pose this time. And you want to just close your eyes for a second and get yourself steady on your feet and feel a straight line all the way from your heels to the crown of your head. Let's do the second round together. Inhale. This is a variation of a 5-pointed star. Exhale. Namaste Mudra. Inhale. Chair pose. Exhale. Swan dive into your forward bend. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, push up. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, dog face down. Inhale, walk forward back into monkey. Remember to try to keep your back parallel to the floor. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, mountain pose. Now, on this one, when I'm doing a sun salutation, lots of times, if it's an evening class, I don't do a lot of sun salutations. If it's a morning class, I'll do a lot more of them. What I'm going to do next is move into the pyramid series. So we're going to start out by bringing your legs out. Bring your hands out in front of you, and you're going to move back and forth. Now, on this one, some of your students might want to use blocks for the hands, and that's fine. It'll help them to get in deeper. I'm going to start to walk my hands over here and get this kind of depth, and then start to walk back over to the other side. This just helps to loosen everything up. Okay, come over one side. Good. And then over to the other side. Sit. And now, with my hands right here, I want to do some pyramid bows. So I'm going to start to drop in and then come back up. And again. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm exhaling on my way down. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Now is another variation right here. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And one more. Exhale. And inhale. Good. I'm going to walk my hands over right here. It just is a variation of a lunge, but I've got my hands off to one side. Okay. Now, switch over to the other side. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is some triangles down low. So I've got my hand on the inside. I'm trying to line up the forearm with the shin, and the other hand comes straight up. Your head could be up, facing up toward the ceiling or toward your hand, if that's possible. Good. We're going to do some more of those, and I'm going to show you some other variations or modifications for your students that'll be a little bit easier. One would be this variation of a triangle. Just make sure the elbow is not locked. Good, and we're going to come over to the other side. Some people call those variations of revolved triangles as well. But here we go again. This time what I'm doing is turning up, but my hand's on the small of the back. It's another modification. Good. And we're going to switch to the other side. Good. Still yet more variations. This one is called a rainbow twist. I'm going to bring the hand across, and this really does resemble a lot more of your revolved triangle. The base hand can be either on the foot, on a block, or inside the foot. Good, we're going to go to the other side. And again, like I said, you could put the hand on the foot, or inside the foot, or on a block. Good, we're going to come back. And right here, just a few more swaying pyramids. And right here, if you want to come out of this position, there's a couple of ways to come out of it. Let's look at a couple of different ways. You can come in like this: heels, toes, heels, toes, heels, toes, and up. Or we're going to do another variation. So you're in a pyramid, legs like this, in, and that depends exactly on what's safe for your students. Moving into a standing series, we're going to start out with a 5-pointed star. So I'm going to bring my hands out here, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a variation of a forward bend off of this one, which would be much similar to a pyramid bow. So we're going to start to exhale and fold right in this way. Now, you can leave the arms out this way. Some of your students might want to even drop in lower. And then you're going to inhale back up. So I'm going to show you a few different variations of this one. We're going to exhale, and I'm going to keep the hands out. And then inhale and come back up. And a couple more. Exhale. And inhale. And one more. Exhale. And inhale. Okay, from here we're going to go into a spinal twist. This is a standing spinal twist. Starts to work around this way. And make sure you breathe. Don't hold your breath. Most people, when they go into a twist or they fold their body up, start to exhale, and then they don't continue to inhale. You also want to bring the back arm around as far as it'll go, comfortably. Shouldn't be any kind of a contest. And we're going to come back to center. And we're going to go to the other side. Same thing. Work around, turn at the navel as much as you can, and don't worry so much about your neck. And then come back to center. Good. Right here we're going to go into Warrior 1. Let's talk about a few things on Warrior 1. My back foot, I'm going to turn it in 45 degrees. A lot of you come from different styles where the foot stays out at 90 degrees. The reason I'm turning it in so much is so you don't put as much pressure on the knee. And what I'm going to do here is start to turn on the heel, and I turn 90 degrees. Now my back foot is turned in quite a bit here again to avoid any torque on the knee. What I'm going to do next, make sure your knee lines up over in the direction of your toes. You want to make sure that the knee sights up toward the toes, and the knee should be directly over your ankles. Now I'm going to open up this way. I know there's a lot of different variations with hands. You can, for example, I'll demonstrate a few different ones. Some of you may have been familiar with Jupiter Mudra. Some of you may do something called Temple. And some of you even may do variations of a back bend. But here's the variation we do here. And any of those that I mentioned are fine. Make sure your breathing is nice and smooth. Good. And from right here, I'm going to actually fold right in to something you call either a lunge, a runner. Some people actually call this spy pose. And I'm going to inhale and look forward. And now exhale and start to straighten out the leg. This is a variation of a forward bend called warrior bow. And exhale. And inhale. So you're inhaling back to runner, and then exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. Good. And right here I'm going to come back up. Come all the way back. And we're going to... Okay, we're going to go into a triangle next. Off this side. Drop it in. Keep the knee bent. And you want to try to have the arms lined up straight. to look at the extended lateral. Okay, the back foot I'm turning in 45 degrees, the front foot I'm turning it in about 90 degrees, and I'm going to start to bring this hand so it rests on, not with a lot of weight, on the upper leg. This hand's going to roll in this way so that the thumb points toward your navel, and now your shoulder starts to turn up toward the ceiling. So you can use this as a warm-up for the extended lateral, or you can use it as a modification. The next thing we're going to do is bring the hand to the ear, the fingers to the ear, and then start to turn the shoulder back. Again, a pose like this, it should only be in the neighborhood of where you feel comfort. So you shouldn't be pushing where anything feels cramped. Good. And right here I'm going to go into the extended lateral that most of you know. And what are you looking at? You're looking at having a straight line from your fingertip all the way to your toe. It's probably about somewhere about 45 degrees. Good. I'm going to flow right here into Warrior 2. The big thing on the Warrior 2 that I want to mention is not only is it different from Warrior 1 as far as the hips are going, it's my back foot doesn't have to be turned in as sharp to avoid any torque on the back knee. You could actually do it, you know, with the foot out at 90 degrees. Also, the backhand wants to come down. That's the one thing you're going to see with most of your students. And also the backhand, depending on people's shoulders, might want to come in. So you're going to have to come around and make adjustments. We're going to get to some alignments later, and that's one of the things that we will cover. So your gaze should be over your forward hand. Good. Some shoulder roll. And reverse. And now shake your arms out. And we're going to move to the other side, doing the same thing. So the first one was Warrior 1. We're going to take the back foot and turn it in 45 degrees and the forward foot 90 degrees. And turn this way. Again, make sure your knee sights up over your toe and hands come up. Imagine a lot of tension leaving your body through your fingers while your fingers are spread apart like this. Good, and we're going to start to drop right in to your runner. Again, inhale, forward, into runner, and exhale into the warrior bow. Inhale, runner, exhale, warrior bow. Inhale, runner, exhale, warrior bow. Inhale, runner. Okay, from right here, come up. I'm going to set myself up for a extended lateral on this side, so we're going to start with this one. I'm going to start to turn my shoulder back. Good, and right here, I'm going to go hand to ear, and again turn the shoulder back. Make sure you don't have too much weight on the forward arm so that it's not cutting the circulation off of your upper leg. Good, and now extend into extended lateral. Again, the same thing. You want to make sure that the fingers and the toes are in one straight line, approximately 45 degrees. From right here, I'm going to flow into a warrior two. Again, the same guidelines. The back arm wants to drop down. The back arm sometimes wants to flare forward. Make sure your gaze is over the forward arm. Good, I'm going to leave. Okay, we're going to go into triangle off this side. Still keep the knee bent. And you bring your gaze up if you can. Good, and we're going to come out of this.
We're going to start out firstly with the stork pose, and the poses that I'm going to show you require balance, and I'll give you a few hints on how to maintain that balance when doing them. Generally, we're going to start off with the right foot, and we're going to shift the weight to the right foot to get a good even balance, making sure that the big toe and little toe are grounded into the floor, as well as the back of the heel, left and right. We're going to put our pressure onto the right foot, grab the left foot, and come back for the stork. Now generally a good thing to do is to find a point of focus, and that will help you a little with your balance. Shifting the weight onto the left foot, holding on to the right foot, bringing it back gently, and again picking your focal point. And then bringing your right foot down. The next series we'll go into is the crane. Again, same principle as the stork. We're going to root the right foot into the floor, balancing your weight onto the right foot, bringing the left foot up, making sure that you're holding onto your shin and not onto the kneecap. Again, picking a focal point. Go to the other side, again shifting the weight to the left side, bringing that right foot up, again holding on to the shin, being careful not to hold on to the kneecap. And bringing the right foot down. Going to start with the tree pose. Again, you can bring your foot in front of the right foot, or you can bring your left foot to balance your toe on the floor for a little more stability. You can bring your left foot up to your calf, or you can bring the left foot up to the groin area. Taking your hands, bringing them up, bringing the hands into prayer pose, and balancing on the top of the head. Come out of the position the way you came in, bringing the arms down, relaxing the foot to the floor. On the opposite side, we'll take one of the modifications that we showed. If you have less flexibility or less balance, you may want to just bring the foot up against the left calf and simply either bring your arms up into Namaste and relaxing over the head, or if you want to, you can even bring the arms down to the center of the chest, which will enable you to have a little bit more balance. And again, relaxing the hands coming out of the pose. Okay, let's go into a cat series. So for this, we're going to put ourselves into a cat position. You want to make sure that your forearms and hands are directly in line with your shoulders. Make sure that you have your fingers spread out wide like a starfish. This will absorb any shock into the wrist by having the palms match up right with your mat. Make sure that your knees are directly in line with your hips. Okay, we're in cat position right now. We're going to go into a series called Cat-Dog Spinal Wave. In cat, lightly bring the sit bones up. Head comes forward, looking straight. Inhale. Exhale. Tuck the sit bones in first. Round the shoulders. Tuck the chin into the chest. Inhale. Holding on to chin lock. Sit bones come up first. Release the chin lock. Look forward and inhale. Exhale into dog. Sit bones come in. Back is rounded. chin to chest. Inhale, sit bones come out so that you have a slight little valley in your back. Holding on to the chin lock, release the chin lock, look forward. Let's go into cat wags its tail. Inhale, exhale, look to the right, over to your right shoulder. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, look over to the opposite shoulder. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, opposite shoulder. Inhale, forward. Exhale, opposite shoulder. Inhale, come forward. Next, we're going to go into a calf stretch. Start off with the right foot. Bring it back as much as feels comfortable. Paste your toe onto the floor. And if you want a little bit more into the stretch, just bring the heel a little closer to the floor. Stretching the calf muscle, elongating the muscles in the leg. And then slowly bring it back up into your original cat position. Let's go with the opposite leg. Left leg comes back. Toe is pasted onto the mat. Again, to get a little bit more out of the stretch, you may want to bring your heel back, working the calf muscle. Bring that leg back to original position. Next, we're going to work on a balancing cat. We'll start on the right side, extend the leg out to half plank. Raise the left hand and look forward. Left hand comes down. Bring your right leg in. Opposite side. Left leg, half plank. Right arm comes forward. Look straight ahead, remembering to breathe. Bring your left leg in, bring your right hand down. Next, I'm going to go into a scorpion, which is just a variation of the balancing cat. We will again start on the right side. Extend the right leg out. Bend it in slightly. Take the left hand, holding on to the ankle, and look forward. Releasing your hand, bringing it down to the mat, right leg comes in. Let's go to the opposite side, left leg comes out in half plank. Right hand comes around to the ankle of the left foot and look straight ahead. Right hand, left leg, bring it back down into cat. Repositioning yourself into cat. I'm going to do a cat wave and then thread the needle. Cat threads the needle. Take your right hand, position it firmly on the mat. Left hand comes up for a cat wave. thread the needle, bringing the left hand behind the right, bringing shoulders and head to the floor. If you want to get a little bit more into this pose, you may want to stretch your left hand just a little further out to work the shoulder muscles. Using your right hand to push you back up. Coming back into your cat position. Working on the opposite side, gripping the mat with your left hand. We're going to come up to a right cat wave and thread the needle, bringing the right hand underneath the left, bringing shoulder and head to the floor. And again, if you want to get a little bit more into the shoulder, simply extend that right hand out. Make sure that you're breathing comfortably. And use the left hand to bring you back up into your cat position. Now we're going to work on the wrist a little. The wrist have taken a lot of work today with the cat. So we're just going to come down into hero pose and work a few wrist exercises. The first one is a figure 8. We're just going to clasp the hands and work your hands into a figure 8. This will relieve any pressure on the wrists. And then opposite side. Exercise for this would be to bring the hands up, down, out, in. Just come up, down, out, in. One last time. Up, down, out, in. One last exercise for the wrist would be to turn your left hand with palm upward. Take your right hand and gently just bring the fingers down. So you're getting a stretch right in the wrist. And then gently turn the left hand over. Take the right hand again and gently bring the fingers downward. To the right hand, again palm upward, take the left hand, gently bring the fingers downward to relieve pressure from the wrists. Turn the right hand over, and again, fingers downward. Should feel a little bit better on the wrist, relieving any tension or pressure that you may have had. And that concludes the cat series.
For this next segment, we were going to work on the standing postures, but at the same time, what I was going to do is go through assisting with Marie. So in this part, what we'll do is she'll go through a standing series, and I'll cue along the way. So we're going to start out with a 5-pointed star. Good. And the next thing she's going to do is she's going to do a standing spinal twist. So she's going to wrap her arms around her body. Good. And keep going. And here's some things to think about when you're doing the spinal twist. You're trying to wrap the arm around as much as you can. You're trying to turn at the navel, not so much the neck, not so much cranking on the neck. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently push her a little bit more. Obviously, certain cases, somebody who has heart condition or somebody who's pregnant doesn't want to go into a deep twist. I would also go with high blood pressure. And we're going to come back to the 5-pointed star. And we're going to rotate in the opposite direction. Again, we're going around the body as much as it'll comfortably go. There shouldn't be any pain. And the cranking should be minimal. The turn, really, the axis of the movement is right at the navel, not so much cranking on the neck. I'm actually going to help her out here. I'm going to actually turn a little bit deeper this way. Good, and come back to a 5-pointed star and just relax. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into Warrior 1. Some points I want to mention ahead of time. People's feet are different. My foot in the back here, I turned it in on a sharper angle because I have on both knees some serious knee injuries as far as connective tissue. The other thing she's going to do now, she's going to bend her knee forward. So we're setting up for Warrior 1. What are we looking at? We're looking at a line straight down the knee, through to the ankle. Okay, and now come around, bring your arms all the way around. This is good. Okay, now Marie's feet, her arches, she doesn't really have any arches. So the reason her back foot, what we've worked on over the years, we start to realize her back foot actually goes out a little bit more than say mine would, and this is healthy for her as far as balance. So with each person you work with, you have to work with them differently, and you have to analyze a few different things as far as how the hands would go. Go ahead and bring your arms all the way up. Now, we're looking at a couple of different ways that you can work the hands. She opened up her fingers. This one, some of you will see this in Iyengar yoga. This is to let tension out of the fingers. Go ahead and show us some of the other variations on mudras. She's doing prayer mudra here, and go ahead and do a Jupiter mudra. Jupiter mudra. Some people go into a big arch on the back, and we'll stop there with that side. And I'm going to ask you to bring your hands down now. Good. And come back to center. Good. All the way back to center. All the way back to your 5-pointed star. Good. And now she's going to do Warrior 1 on the opposite side. Same thing. Marie, do you have any comments to say about the back foot for yourself? I mean, I have high arches. You have low arches. How do you feel?
The back foot should be at 45-degree angle. For me, it's because the arches come in anyways. I can't come in as sharp as I probably would even like to, but for me this is a comfortable enough angle where I'm not putting torque on the knee, so at least I'm not doing any damage.
Okay, we're back to that alignment. Go ahead, straight in to Warrior 1. Good. And we're just going to stay with this variation right here. We're not going to hold it a long time. Some teachers will have you hold it for 5 breaths. Some, like me, might shoot for 30 seconds. It depends on who you're working with. I want to mention one last thing. If she was looking down at her kneecap should sight over the toes. So whenever you're looking at this posture and some of the things that you should be looking at, the knee sights up over the toes. The knee also lines up directly over the ankle and never to pronation. Let's exaggerate for a second and just show a slight pronation. I never want to see that, so we bring it back. The whole thing is it's not going to hurt your clients or your students' knees, but at the same time, at least not on a one-time round, but at the same time, what's going to happen is if you make that into something that you continually let go, go ahead back to that 5-pointed star. If you make that into something that you let go, your students will injure their knees. So you can't let the knee stay pronated during Warrior 1. You want to make sure you stay on top of that. You will get a few people, I'd say out of 10, usually 2 out of 10 in the class will be guaranteed to pronate the knee, and you want to stop them and nip it in the bud as soon as possible. The next thing, let's go into an extended lateral. And I'm going to ask you to do it in a 3-stage. Good. Now I'm going to ask you to turn the thumb toward the navel in this variation. Good. Now there's a couple things I want to mention that are very misunderstood about the extended lateral. She's not putting any weight really on this forearm and down on this leg. And the reason why is because it cuts circulation off. If you have students who are my age or older, what they're going to do is they're going to cut the circulation off on the leg. They're not going to like yoga practice very much. And the other thing is here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little bit. And you could do this. This is a modification already of an extended lateral, and you start to turn. And you turn your student as much as you can get away with. I went gently and I just cranked a little bit. I'll give you a good example. Some instructors, especially male instructors, will get in hot water, grabbing their students like this and cranking right at the waist. I realize that that's probably the best way to do it. However, I would say ask permission about assisting first. Secondly, you can get a lot out of working by the shoulders, and then the waist will come along with it. Granted, if you grab it right at the waist and start to line like this, this will work faster and actually better, but it's one of those things where you've got to look at a person's privacy in their own space. The next thing I'm going to ask you to do is bring your hand to your ear. This is another variation. Where should her gaze be? Well, if it's by the book, her gaze should be this way and out towards this. And you can actually start to work it in this direction if you want. You have to feel gently where your student, you can feel the tension in their body. I don't feel any tension in this body right here. But what you do is sometimes you'll feel the tension in the body. Now go ahead and extend out. So this is the most common extended lateral we see, and I thank you for doing that because that makes it so that I can make some kind of adjustment. Relax your neck. Relax your neck muscles. Good. Okay, I asked her to relax her neck this time around. Why? So I could actually line her body. I'm trying to get this into a 45-degree line from her fingertip to her heel. And sometimes if some people are looking straight up, I realize that's by the book, but on the other hand, there's a limit to how much someone can really take, especially on the neck. And you can feel the tension when you're making an assist. Go ahead and come back and shake it out just a little bit. Good. And we're going to go to the opposite side. Now that you've seen those 3 variations, you have a better idea. Again, just as a reminder, not too much weight on this forearm, not cutting the circulation off on the leg. The thumb pointed toward the navel, the shoulders turned back. If the student can, they should bring their gaze this direction. Now show the second variation. This is good. There's not too much I have to do here as far as making any kind of adjustments. She's looking in the right direction, the shoulders back and everything else. And now what I'm going to do is ask you to extend. So we've gone a little bit shorter this time around. Some people are going to be able to, now I'm holding her here on the small of her back at the same time as I'm making the adjustment here, and I'm trying to draw. And now what I do is I start to extend this way just to get a little bit more out of it. You're going to get students who, what you're going to see a bunch of different things. You're going to see a big bunch of curves, and sometimes you get a straight line here and then it goes up here or over here. You do the best you can with each student. Their bodies are different. Okay, Marie, come on out. Okay, so that's the extended lateral. We showed a few modifications along the way. Now what I wanted to do is I wanted to tackle a couple of triangles. So here we go. First one I'm going to ask you to do, I'm going to ask you to do a triangle with a bent knee. This is not that common. You don't always see this type of triangle around. And actually what I'm going to do is throw a block right in here. Okay, go ahead. Anytime you're ready, drop down in. Okay, this, I actually have to move around to see, and you're going to have to move around a few times on your students to see exactly what you want to see for an alignment. Sometimes that's why you see teachers, it's really tough adjusting when you've got, say, 27 people in a class and you're running around, and so they're holding the postures forever for you to make an adjustment to everybody, and it means that anybody who's close, you don't even go over and make an assist on them because you're so busy running around to all those people who are completely out of line. And basically that's, we're going to cover another angle on this one later so you can see these kind of alignments. But this is a good example of one right here. Okay, come on back up. And we're going to come over to the other side. And we're going to do the same thing. Okay, on this one, she has more ability to bend right here in the shoulder than she did on the other one. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that out. She doesn't really need all that much to bend back that far. Some people think, you know, it's almost turns like into a macho thing where they think they're going to bend back further, and actually you don't realize, but the rotocuff inside doesn't really need to be bent that much. Some people call that rotator cuff. Okay, so I've gone with a straight line here, and now what I'm going to do here, again, you better ask your female students for permission on this one. What I'm doing here is a shoulder alignment, actually, helping with the shoulder. There's a couple of ways of doing this. Her neck, she's looking straight up. Some people are gonna be able to turn their neck even more than this. That's fine, as long as you don't wake up the next day with a stiff neck. But the main thing is to be able to get your students to work in a comfort zone and relax. Good. Okay. Now, we're going to go and work the triangle again. This time we're going to work the triangle with a straight line. I threw the block there. She may not need it, or she may want to show how to use a block. I think the block you can get a lot out of. Even some of your students who think they don't need to use a block can get better alignments with one. Okay, some points to bring up. None of these knee joints are locked out. Okay, so there's a slight bend in each one. Now, I'm coming around here, and it looks like it's got to come up this way. And I'm going to come around front just to take a quick look. And that's that. Now, if you wanted to get your student to get a little bit more out of this, we could work it this way. I could work in this direction. I'm actually able to get a lot more out of it. How does it feel as far as comfortable?
It's okay.
Okay. This makes your student work a little bit more. But at the same time, you don't want to mess anything up. So you got to go gentle. And we're going to bring it back. Good job. And I'm just going to bring the block over to your other side. And we're going to cover triangle opposite side. Good. Again, this shoulder bent back right away, and it was actually more range of motion than she needs. This from this end, from this side, looks very straight. I'm going to come around this way just to take a look, and that's not that bad. So this time, see, she had the ability to go back. I'm just going to show. She has the ability to go back further. That's not really that good for the shoulder joint, but now what I'm doing is I'm starting to bring it in line here. Now this is good for the neck alignment and also for the shoulder alignment. This actually stops, or I should say helps prevent slouched shoulders. It's one of the ways of working the body so that a person doesn't carry themselves in poor posture as they're walking down the street. Come on up. and we're fine there. And I'm going to stop with those, and what we'll show you next is these same alignments from a side view.
Okay.
Going into the standing series again, going to look at a side view so you can see assisting from a different angle, and this will be able to give you a lot more information and a bird's eye view of exactly how to make an assist from this angle. Go ahead. We're going to start out with Warrior 1. We had mentioned all the things before about the back foot, but this gives you a good chance to look from this view. Good. Okay, another thing right here that I hadn't mentioned was some teachers will want the student to raise the arms up past what they naturally should. When you pull up too high, what happens is the rotocuff scrapes on the upper bone, or the rotator cuff on that upper bone. So you want to avoid anything like that, any kind of wear and tear. Yoga is something we want to be able to do all our lives, and we don't want to have premature wear because of yoga. The other thing is you can see the alignments here. You're looking here for the alignment between the knee straight over the foot. You cannot see from the angle you're looking at now what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the knee lined up straight over the ankle. Again, the back foot, if it were me, my legs, my knees, I turn my foot in this much, but for Marie it works a lot better. Her arches are different completely than mine, and her knees are in better shape than mine are. So I'm going to ask you to relax now. Good. And what I'm going to do is ask you to do, you did a left Warrior 1, I'm going to ask you to do a right Warrior 1. Just gives you an idea of how to look, because sometimes the body of your student is different from one side to the other. And again, what I'm looking at here sometimes is this angle. I'm going to ask you to just fool around for a second and tilt in this way. Okay. You want to make sure you stay on top of that, anybody who's doing this. So we're going to bring it back to where it does belong. That's something that you see every once in a while. You'll see somebody's knee pop in. Make sure you stay on top of that one. And make sure you take your time to get right in front of the knee and see where it is. Don't crank on anybody's knee, but at least look gently. Try to see if you got something there. Sometimes it's just the shape of the way the leg is underneath too. Not everyone is built completely straight. But you really want to keep an eye out for the knee being pointed in or pointed out on this one. This is fine. I'm going to actually take it and go bring it like this. And that's it. So that gives you a view of Warrior 1, and relax. Okay, the next thing we're going to go into is the extended lateral. I'm going to show you a few different variations from the side view. This is really good because you can now see it from this angle right here, and you can see her neck. She's in the comfort zone right there as far as the neck. You never take your student and go turn the neck like that. You just let them go where they can. I never have ever pushed anyone's neck, and I would not suggest it. We'll go into the next thing right here. Now, at this point, what I could do is I could, if I want, go a little bit deeper. She'd actually start to turn on her own, but that's that. Some people, like I said, some students and teachers, they'll make an adjustment right here. Be careful doing that. Make sure you got permission from your student, and at the same time, make sure that that's okay, because you're right on the border of what's okay and what's not okay, whatever your sex is. Okay, and we're going to extend right here, and it's just one of those things where You know, a lot of times I kid around here, and I'll say everybody in New England's a lot different. Like, we can go to an ashram in California, and there's no problem with me making a rotation on the waist. And in New England, I better ask permission when I'm working with students. Okay, so, and a lot of times you're looking at a sculpture. I'm trying to get the straightest line here. Okay, so now what I do is I start to draw it in this direction. I'm trying to get a straight line, not just from the angle that you saw before, but also from this angle right here. Okay, Marie, that's very good. And we'll switch to the other side. Okay, this is good. You can see her neck again from this side, so that seems to be her comfort zone, where she can go. Also, one thing I hadn't mentioned, if you have a student who has vertigo, they're probably, just for an exaggeration for a second, just look straight down toward the ground. That's where they should be looking, if it's a good day. Some people have vertigo, and it comes and it goes, and they cannot look at the ceiling. If they do, they start to get dizzy, and then they're going to fall down in your class. You want to avoid that as much as possible. So you might even, depending on who it is, you may even want to get a chair nearby. Okay, so go back to where you were, and we're going to extend the hand up so the hand goes up next to the ear. And this is really good. I'm going to come around and look at it from this view. We're looking at the shoulder. I could actually get a little more out of this one if I want. Well, I didn't really push that a whole lot. And now extend. Okay. And right here, this all depends on the student. I see on one side she's much different than the other. I'm going to draw her this way, and I'm actually making her work a lot more than she would naturally do on her own. And you know, depending on how much time you've got in the class to move around, you might hold a student in position for a while. But again, if, like I had said before, if you have 27 students, forget it. You'd make a quick adjustment here and run on to the next. Good. That's very good. And come on out. Okay. Good. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to cover some triangles. So whichever triangle you want to cover, I think bent knees would be good first. That's it. I'm going to put a block here. Always good to give them an option of a block. Some people are offended. They think when you say, would you like a block, that you're saying, gee, you don't have any good range of motion or something to that effect, or you're not an intermediate or advanced practitioner if you're using a block, and that's just a bunch of nonsense. So the whole thing that I want to get by is right away, if you've got tools around, people who practice Iyengar or restorative would know that there's nothing wrong with props, but some of the other styles, some of the other backgrounds might believe that props are a crutch. I can show you some examples here of how a prop will actually help make the alignment much better and much straighter. Go ahead into a triangle right here. I'm just kind of guesstimating where you might go. Okay, does that block feel like it should be pushed a little bit closer to you? There you go. Okay, some things I'm looking at, and now you are right here. You're looking for a straight line. You're looking for a straight line from this arm and all the way from here to here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try not to obstruct your view. What I'm going to do is make a small adjustment right here, and I can feel, she's been working hard, and I can feel the body naturally resisting. Okay, so this is one variation of a triangle. Now you're getting a view. Actually, what I want is a straight line from this wrist to that wrist all the way through the shoulders. This really does help work the shoulders. And at the same time, what I'm doing, I'm actually, you saw this before, I'm drawing it this way too. So I want it straight from here to here and straight from here to here. Okay, Marie, take a rest. Okay, we're going to go to the other side. So you do the right triangle, we're going to do a left with the bent knee. Okay, again, now here, I'm going to just ask you to be patient with me. Okay, why did I do that? I wanted to make sure that there was no shock going into her wrist and her fingers are spread out a little bit. That's it. And the center of the palm's making most of the contact with the block. Now, here you can see what I see, and I start to turn this way. And this side isn't as cooperative as the other side, but we got it fairly close. I could actually turn her. Again, you got to be careful what you do with people and how much you can get out of it, and you start to work it. And again, as I mentioned before, I'm trying to get it straight here and straight from the other view as well. This is good. Okay, take a rest. And we'll come to the other variation of a triangle. So we've got the right foot forward this time. We're going to do a triangle with a straight leg. Again, remember when we talked about triangles with a straight leg, we're not talking about the knees being locked, any of them. Good. And what I'm going to do again is I'm going to move the block a little bit closer. Okay, this looks like it's pretty straight. And I'm going to draw up this way. Now, even when you're teaching, you can't, from every angle, you can't possibly see exactly what's straight and what's not. You're looking down, you're coming around this way, and you're going to go around to the other side, and you see that, well, you could get a little bit more out of that. And we've got to be careful with her neck, so we don't make sure, again, you don't do anything. A lot of people will run around saying, you should be looking at the ceiling. They should look where they can look. If they can look at the ceiling, that's great. If they can't look at the ceiling, it's not something to sweat. You just make them look at it as a goal. Okay, that's good. And one last one. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm trying to see if I can get this one straight. This side, her body feels different than it did on the other side. So what I'm doing is I'm moving around to see every possible angle I can see, and this is as straight as it's going to get today. Like I said, if you wanted to, you could do this. Some people will do, you got to be careful again, like I said, some people do this kind of an adjustment. But this kind of an adjustment right here didn't have anything, I mean, it will make the shoulders move slightly, but I think here's what I'm looking at, and after all, the posture is for shoulder alignment more than it is for other things. So here we are. Okay, good job. And that takes care of some of the standing series. That isn't all of the standing series exercises, but I thought it would give you a good basis to make your alignments on. Okay, we were going to go next into some cat movements, cat kriyas. Kriya meaning cleansing, and cleansing here referring more to a cleansing of mind. Some of these kriyas are done in connection with each other just before meditation, or sometimes as forced exhalations. And it gets you from one posture to another, so you can start to focus on the movement and take all of the other things that are going on in the world out of your mind. So the first one we're going to start out with is cat, and then down to mecha pose. So let's look at, I had mentioned before about alignments, and we're going to go a little bit further on alignment, some things to check. I'm looking at making sure her fingers are spread apart, which they already are, and the center of her palms are down, and her elbows are not locked, and the hands are directly under the shoulders. There's a few variations as far as some people call this cat, some people call it table, but I want you to understand that Marie, go ahead and roll your toes under for a second. There's this variation too that I've seen. Really doesn't matter. Okay, go ahead and bring it back. What we're going to do here is we're going to do a cat. So she's going to inhale at the top of cat. Good. And now she's going to exhale, and exhale all the way back down to mecha pose. Now, this one, when she goes down to mecha pose, she's leading with the hips on the way down. She rolled her chin so that it was close to her collarbone. This is a chin lock, and we're going to inhale up, hold that chin lock, good, and then once the head goes past the shoulders, release the chin lock, and all the way back up to cat. See, now that's good. So she's released that. We're going to exhale down. Good, and I'm going to ask you to actually fold back this way first. Good, and then go deep into your chin lock. Good, and then inhale up. Good, holding the chin lock, and release it when the head passes the shoulders. Good, and now so I'm going to guide her along on this one, and exhale back. So she's going exhale back, lead with the hips, good, and then rolling up, good, and then inhale up, good, and one more, exhale back, good, lead with the hips, good, she's got the chin lock, I can feel it, and then we're going to inhale up, good, and lead with the crown of the head, that's it, and release the chin lock once the chin passes, actually once the head passes the shoulders. Okay, so that's the first one. The next one I'm going to ask you to do, some people call this by different names, and I'll give you a good one. I've heard this one called cat dog, cat cow, and some call it cat and cat bow. Okay, so what she's going to do is she's going to inhale up and exhale, round your back off. Good, she stays up high, and then inhale up and exhale back. And this is a spinal wave, a more shallow spinal wave than some, but nevertheless one. And inhale up. Good, and she's working the chin lock every time she comes down on her exhale, and then exhale again. Good. And inhale up. Okay. Next thing. Half plank and sunbird. Okay. So you're going to go to an inhale in a half plank. Good, and just relax here for a second. Okay, now breathe on your own. What I'm going to look for here is I'm going to try to bring everything straight in line. Good, and then inhale up. Good, now some things I'm looking for. I'm looking to try to keep this straight, fairly straight anyway. And exhale, bring it back down. Good. You want to make sure your student doesn't lock the knee, and inhale up. Good, and they work in as much as the best height they can, and then bring it back down. Good, one more, inhale up. That's it, and exhale back, and just relax and inhale. Good. Now we're going to switch sides. Good. So now what I'm doing is I'm trying to make sure that it stays in line straight. Good. And inhale up. Good. And exhale down. You're going to have to work with your students according to what you can get out of them. Inhale up. And here's a good way of explaining this. And exhale down. Some of your students, their hips are going to be popping when they're doing these. Inhale up. And exhale down. And tuck. And rest. Okay. Next one is a half plank with a roll out. The last exercise I want to mention one thing. Sometimes you'll hear, if you're right on top of your student, you'll hear their knee or their hip pop. You're never trying to get friction out of the body. So if you hear grinding going on or popping, you want to try to immediately work whatever you can as far as alignments to stop continuous friction. So we're going to go to half plank again, either one. Good. This time, what she's going to do is a forced exhalation, and this is a roll up. So go ahead and bring it in and exhale. Good. And then inhale. That's it. And then exhale. And then inhale. And exhale. And inhale. Good, and this is working out fine. And exhale, relax. Good. And so we're going to go to the other side. That's good. Don't lock the knee out. Good. And we're going to inhale first. And exhale, roll it up. Good, and then inhale. That's it. And then exhale. Inhale. Good, and exhale. Nice job, and then inhale, and then exhale. Good, and just relax. Okay, nice job. The last one we're going to cover right here. Pose of a child. She's going to come all the way down to pose of a child. Okay, this one is a relaxation pose, but what we're doing here is doing a little bit of a movement out of it later on. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you to exhale in this position. Now inhale and come up slow. And bring your hands over your head and go into a little bit of a back bend. Good. And then exhale down real slow. Now your students can do any of these that we've just done with their eyes closed. So they start to home in on their breath. And it's a good way of practicing pranayama and kriya, and at the same time developing posture, maybe getting better range of motion. And inhale up again. Good. If you're working with a student one-on-one, you got time. Be careful, don't crank their lower back. And then exhale down. Good. And now inhale. Just come back up. One last time. Good. Exhale, come down to cat. You can work it a bunch of different ways, but what we're going to do is we're going to stop there with those variations.
Okay, now we're going to go into what's called the gait series. And this is usually a nice little sequence to do before bedtime. It's relaxing. You're going to work out some of your muscles, especially muscles that maybe you've been standing all day. So we're going to start off with the gait series. You're going to start off on your knees. If you have problems with knees or you need to take care of your knees, you may want to take a blanket and put them underneath the knees to cushion any shock or any feeling that you may have from the floor itself. If not, you're just going to come onto your knees. I'm going to start on the right side. You're going to bring the right leg outward with the foot flexed, so toes are facing up toward the ceiling. You're going to take your right hand and intersect your right knee. Take your left hand, bring it up and over. You're going to feel a stretch on the left side of the waist. And this is your closed gait. Make sure that you're breathing comfortably, inhaling and exhaling. And then we're going to come into what's called the open gait. So this left hand, the hand on top, is going to switch and come over to the left side. Bring the left palm down to the ground. And come up and over. And this is your open gait. Your right foot is still stretched to the right side of the body, and the foot is flexed. If you feel comfortable, look up toward your right hand. If you're having problems with your neck, you may want to either look forward or possibly even bring the head looking down. Important thing with your left hand is to make sure that the palm is flat on the mat, the fingers are spread wide so you don't put any extra pressure onto the wrist. Okay, now I'm going to come down into a seated position. And you're going to come down into the exact same position as you were kneeling. So the foot that was outstretched is coming out to the side. This is the knee that we were kneeling onto. I'm going to start off with leg circles, knee circles actually. I'm going to take the hands and place them under the left knee. We're just going to do some small circular motions with the foot. You want to be careful and not make the circles too wide, putting excess pressure on the knee. And then you're going to take the foot and rotate in the opposite direction. Again, small circles. And then just relax that knee, bring it in. I'm going to do an easy forward bend. Now in this one you can either hold on to the thigh, bring the hands down to the calf muscle. You may want to bring the fingers down to the toes. For a little extra bend, you might want to take the left hand and bring it to the outside of the right foot and bring the right hand back behind the back. Make sure you have a slight bend in this kneecap. You don't want to hyperextend. Bend from the waist and just breathe comfortably. Come out of this position, just release the left hand, coming up slowly. Now we're going to work ankle rotation, so you're going to take this left leg and cradle it over the right. Again, being particular care that you do not put any pressure onto the right kneecap. And in this particular sequence, I'm just going to show you, you can either take your fingers and interlace them in between your toes, and what we're doing is we're just doing some ankle rotation. So what you're seeing the ankle just move some small rotations in one direction. And if you don't feel comfortable with the fingers interlaced, you just want to hold on gently to the toes and then go in the opposite direction. So that's all we're doing. We're relaxing the leg, taking the ankle, rotating in one direction, and then getting out any tension in the ankle by rotating in the opposite direction. Next, what you want to do is we're going to take the fingers, the thumbs, and we're going to relax the leg, and we're going to start from the upper toe, the big toe. We're going to work our way into a massage, a circular massage, and work the thumbs down the ball of the foot, down into the arch, and we're going to work that massage all the way into the heel of the foot. So if you've been standing all day, this is particularly nice. you're giving your feet a massage. And then we're going to do what's called a cradle, and this is a hip opener. So you're going to take that left foot, you're going to take your left hand, bring the knee into the elbow, and you're going to take your forearm on the left hand, and you're going to support your left shin. You're going to take the right hand and support the balance of the foot, and you're going to just gently rock from side to side. And on this one, you want to take it particularly easy. You don't want to do any fast jerking motion. You just want to come back and forth as much as feels comfortable. Just trying to opening up the hips, almost as if you were rocking a baby. Just take it very gently, very easy. If you want, you can coordinate your breath with the movement. Perhaps inhale in one direction, exhale as you're crossing over. And then lastly, we're going to take the foot, we're still supporting it with the left arm. We're going to take the right hand and bring it to the outside of the left foot. And you're going to take your right toe and put it in the direction of the right shoulder. And then swing it to the direction of the left shoulder. And then bring it in the direction of the right ear. And then bring it to the direction of the left ear. And then bring it in line with the nose. And you're going to take this left leg, bring it down carefully. We're going to set up for what's called pigeon. So you're going to take this right leg that's been stretched out, and you're going to bring it back in back of you. You're going to make sure that the foot is out flat in the back, so you don't want the foot in any kind of an angle like this. It's coming straight back. And this is your time to position yourself for the pigeon. So you may come over, bending over the left leg, bring your head down to the floor. You're just trying to position yourself for the pigeon. So this is the time that you may want to just move a little bit, get yourself into position. Relax, take a few deep breaths. When you feel ready, you're going to walk your hands back up toward the body. You're going to take hold of your right leg. You're going to bring the right leg up that was outstretched and back. Grab onto it with your right hand, right on the foot. The next stage would be to take the left hand onto the left knee. And if you feel more comfortable, you want a little bit more of a challenge, take the left hand and bring it straight out. So you're looking over the left hand, breathing comfortably, and keeping your gaze forward. And this is your pigeon. Some people do a pigeon a little bit lower. I'm kind of high off the ground. That's okay, whichever feels more comfortable. To get out of this position, take your left hand, bring it down to your left knee. Gently bring the left hand down to the floor. Release the right hand from the back leg. And bring yourself back up into a kneeling position. We're going to go on to the opposite side of the gate series. So you can take the left leg and extend it out to the side. Again, your left leg, toes are flexed. Take your left hand, intersect your forearm with your left knee. Bring the right arm up and over. And again, if you can look up at your right hand, that's ideal. If not, you can always look down or look forward. So this is our closed gate on the left side. Now we're going to go for the open gate. So the right hand comes over to the right side. Left arm comes up. And again, you're stretching. Left foot is still flexed. Breathing comfortably. then you're going to come down, and you're going to be in the same position as you were when you were kneeling. So your left leg is going to stay out, and your right leg is going to be bent in. Now for this particular side, I'm going to show you straight, so you get a little bit better of an angle. I'm going to take the right leg. We're going to work some leg circles, or knee circles. And again, you're taking it very easy on the knee, small circles, and then reverse direction. Remember, this is the knee that you were kneeling on. Okay, we're going to relax that knee. Going to come in for an easy forward bend. Again, you can be holding on to the thigh, the calf. You can come all the way down to the toes, maybe hold on to the ankles. You're bending at the waist. You're breathing comfortably. And if you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can take your right hand to the outside of your left foot and bring your left hand in back. Remember, keep a slight bend in the knee. And then come out of this slowly, so you're releasing the right hand from your left foot, coming up very slowly, one vertebrae at a time. We're going to now work the ankle rotation, so you're going to take that right knee, rest it onto your left leg, careful not to put it on the left knee. And again, you have a choice of intertwining the fingers and toes, or you can simply just hold on to the toes and rotate the ankle, first in one direction. And then rotating opposite direction. Now we're going to go for the massage on the foot, so you're going to take your thumbs and you're going to start with your big toes and your small toes and massage in a circular motion, working your way down to the ball of the foot, into the arches, and working your way down to the heel. Okay, we're going to go into the hip opener, into the cradle. So you're going to take your right hand and support your right leg, using the left hand to support the balance of the leg where the foot is. And I usually, again, where my elbow crease is, I usually use that to support the knee, and my forearm supports the shin. And you're going to gently twist from side to side, taking it very easy. This is done best slow. Don't do it quickly. And you'll feel the hips opening. Okay, now we're going to take the left hand and support the right foot on the outside. We're going to start off with the toes facing the nose. We're going to bring the right foot in the direction of the right shoulder, and then move it over to the direction of the left shoulder, and then to the right ear, and then in the direction of the left ear, and then bring it center with your nose. Okay, and then you're going to bring your right foot down. This is the knee now that you're going to be bent on. This left leg is going to come into the back. You're going to get positioned over your right leg, and this is where you can take an opportunity to just do a gentle stretch over the right knee. You may have to kind of adjust yourself. You may have to wiggle a little to get a good support, good balance. When you feel ready, walk your hands back up toward your knee. Take your left leg, bring it up toward your sit bones. Hold on to your left ankle with your left hand. Bring your right hand to your right knee. And if you feel comfortable, extending it outward for your pigeon. Looking over the right hand. Breathing comfortably. Coming out of this position, take the right hand down to the knee. Relax it onto the floor. Release your left hand from your left foot. Bringing yourself back into a kneeling position. And that completes our series for the gait series.
Okay. Hi, going into a cat vinyasa here. This one is a sequence, and there's going to be inhales and exhales, and we've tied together a bunch of different postures. You don't have to do this particular one. You can ad lib and create your own. You may be familiar with one beside this one. Let's talk about cat and the alignment. We've got fingers out like a starfish, hands directly under the shoulders, or palms directly under the shoulders. Again, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but the center of the palm should be making as much contact with the floor as possible. And the knees and the upper body meet this way at the hips at 90 degrees. And some styles will roll the toes under, and some styles will roll them back. And also, some of you know this as table. So here we go. We're going to go into a series. And she's going to inhale, that's a half plank. And exhale, she went into a roll up. Good. And then, yes, she's gone into a sunbird right here. And this is another inhale. Good. And now exhale. And that's a push up. Good. And inhale again. Good. And exhale. Good. Inhale. That's it. Up to, what am I after here? Trying to make sure that the hip and leg are aligned right here. Good. And good. Exhale. That's it. And inhale right here, and then exhale. Good. Nice job. Okay. And very soon you ought to be switching to the other side. Nice job. So we're going to go over to the other side. She's going to repeat some of the same things, and this time I'm just going to cover a little bit about the breathing. Wow, will you mind extending your left leg? Okay. Here, when she does a sunbird, let's just talk about the sunbird for a second. Extend. The upper body stays in the same spot. A lot of people, some of your students will start to dive down and bend the elbows right here. You want to make sure they go where they can, straight. Good. And at the same time, I'm trying to keep the foot lined up. So if I was looking at this from this angle, I'm trying to get this completely straight. Okay. Go ahead into this side. Yes, so she's exhaled and gone into a roll up. Good. And she went for a sunbird right here. I'm just going to take a little extra bend out of the leg. Good. And next, exhale, she went into a push-up. That's it. And inhale, she's at a half plank. Good. And next, exhale, roll up. This is a forced exhalation again. You get a lot out of that one. Good. And there's an inhale. Nice job. Good. And exhale into a push-up. Nice job. And exhale. We're on the home stretch on this round. Okay. Good. And just straighten that out a little bit. And go ahead. And exhale on the push-up. Nice job. And inhale to half plank and take a rest. And that's this example of a cat vinyasa. We're going to go into dog series, and actually not a dog series, but dog face down alignment. So I'm going to ask Marie, she's in cat right now, I'm going to ask her to go into a dog face down. She rolls her toes under. Okay. So on this one, this is another good example of what you gotta be careful about doing. I've seen people climb around on their students and everything else. This one, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start to draw up from the hip. See how that just drew her right in line? What I'm looking for is, I'm looking for two steep angles, but at the same time, I really want to get a 90-degree angle here. So this is what I was looking for. Okay, and actually, I can actually draw her a little bit more, and actually, depending on who the student is, you might have taken the student right to the limit right here. I'm going to ask you to take a break. Good. And we're going to stop right here, but I want to, at the next time, work it so that we have a different angle so you can see it from a different angle. So we'll hold up. Going into a dog face down again and assisting on it. I'm going to ask Marie to take it from cat and go into dog face down. Good. And this one here, this is good. She's got in a lot deeper. And I'm just going to draw again so you can kind of see. You got to be careful what I'm signaling to my students. So right here I want her to push this part down, but the head can stay in line. The head can stay in line. Good. And I'm drawing this way. Now, go ahead and raise one leg, your favorite leg. Okay. We're looking at extended dog, and what am I looking at here? As you can see, this is a good way for you to see it. I'm looking at turning, yes, this way. Good. And that's just one example of the type of adjustments you want to make. Don't crank on the foot, just gently nudge it. Don't lock the leg out. We're trying to get it to what the person can do. Don't try to force your student like there's some kind of a clay sculpture that's going to fit to what your mind's eye believes is correct. You know it's correct, but not everybody's body can do it. Okay, this is the limit right here. And I've got as straight of a line as I can. Thank you, Marie. And that was a good example so you can see dog face down or an extended dog. Okay, I thought it would be neat to show you a prone series right here. And there's a lot of different variations of prone series. Most of the prone series tend to work the lower back, like I'm doing right here in Sphinx. Okay. Firstly, in Sphinx, you want to make sure your elbows are where your hands usually are, as far as aligned with the shoulders, like they are in cat. Now, so the elbow now is the straight point going up to the shoulder. Okay, what we're going to do right here is inhale first and exhale, turn. Inhale all the way across. Don't force. And exhale, turn to the other side. Inhale, come back. And now let's, right here, roll the toes under. Okay. What we're going to do is press up into this variation. Some people call this crocodile, and some people call this a variation of Chaturangasana. And basically, this shows you that just about anybody can do a push-up. You want to make sure you're breathing smooth. Good. And we're going to let it down. Okay. This one also some people call crocodile, and this is a relaxation pose. You're going to see me do this every once in a while between postures. So right here, let's talk about the way the head should be. It could be with your forehead down toward the floor. It could be with your head turned to the left, like for example this. Or with your head turned to the right. It all depends on which one feels the most comfortable for you. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into a few different similar postures. And this one goes by the name of boat, and some people call it Superman. Now, this one's working my lower back, so let's talk some variations here. Some people call this one shark, or this one shark. Notice that my hands are in Jupiter Mudra. My gaze is looking forward. And show you another variation. This one right here. Some people will call this airplane, and some will call it swan dive. Okay, so I'm going to bring my hands down right here. And you want to just take a few minutes, sometimes, depend on who your students are, to relax, or in some cases a few seconds. The next thing I'm going to go into is a bow. Now right here, you want to make sure again that your gaze is forward, if possible. Bring the knees off the floor. You will notice that some people will be able to get a lot more of an arch out of their back. Good. I'm going to let that down and reach around back to crocodile for a relaxation pose. We're going into a supine series. Before we start relaxing, I wanted to cover one posture. Some of you know this one is reverse plank. Let's talk about your hands. You want your fingers to point forward. If I take my hands out this way, then what happens is I end up locking my elbows in a very bad way. So we want to make sure that we point the fingers forward. My heels are like this. Not everyone's going to have a good time with this one. This one does kind of isolate the tricep. So we're going to press up this way. And you're trying to get a 45-degree angle as far as alignment on the spine. And we're going to come back down. Right here, we're going to do a roll back. So I'm going to roll back slow. Good. And reach over your head. Okay, let's talk about a few different options for when you're doing a supine series. Supine series can be extremely long. We're not going to do that long one. Here's a good example. Most of the time when you see a supine series, it's at the very end of the class. I have been in some classes, though, where the supine series was the entire class. So, we're going to just talk some variables right here. One, we're going into a position here called cradle. Cradle is a hip opener. Some people are going to find some difficulty or none at all doing this posture. But now, what I do here, you notice that I went on the inside of the leg. Some people will go on the outside. Those are people who have not had any knee injuries. So, I'm drawing in this way. Good. And your head doesn't have to be up. You could rest your head. In this way, make sure you're not pulling on the back of your knee. Notice that my hands are below the knee. So this is a hip opener. Good. I'm not going to hold it that long. My suggested time, I'd say 30 seconds is a good way or good range to go for on postures like these. We'll go into the other side. Again, I start to draw this way. You can probably see my fingers a lot better now. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with bringing your hands on the outside, right here. as long as you haven't had any knee problems. If you have any knee problems, you don't want to crunch down on the knee joint at all. And you're going to notice that your hip really does start to open up on this one. Okay, I'm going to release there. Now let's look at some other gentle ones. One, Marie had covered knee circles before, and this is a hip circle. Now, some people mistake this for a knee circle, but you're going to understand once you do it what's going on. My lower leg is parallel to the floor, and what's happening is I'm working the hip by working the circle parallel to the floor. Good, in reverse. Again, you notice that I don't go pulling on the knee joint at all. Good, and release. I'm going to switch right here, and here we go to the other side. And reverse. Good, and I'm going to lower it there. Okay, now the heels go down, the knees go up. I'm holding on to my ankles here more than some people do. And the reason why I do that is because my knees make a lot of noise if I don't. So I'm going into a bridge. Now, I do this to make sure that my knees and heels and hips are aligned correctly, so I get less popping in my knees this way. I don't have to even hold on, or can hold on, either way. We're going to, right here, go into a bridge. Usually people inhale when they come up. Notice that I didn't overextend the bridge. I'm going for a 45-degree line from my knee to my neck, somewhere abouts. And exhale, coming back down. And had my feet been down here somewhere, you would have definitely heard my knees pop. So right here, I'm going to inhale up. And exhale down. And one more. Inhale up. That's it. And exhale down. Another really good one, although I usually show this later, but I thought you might be interested in seeing this now, would be to take the knees to the chest. And this massages the lower back. And also massages your kidneys back and forth. And you want to focus on the lower back. Sometimes I'll ask students to inhale as they go to one side and exhale as they go to the other side. Now, this makes it so that they focus on the movement. And I might even ask them to close their eyes. Closing their eyes helps them to focus on their breath a lot more, and also slows down the movement and makes it a gentle massage. So this is a very neat one. We're going to go into one that you'll find a little bit more of a challenge. This one's a half spider. And let's look at the half spider. The knee stays bent somewhere close to about 90 degrees. The lower back stays flat on the floor. And by that I mean, for example, if I start to roll this way, then I can start to get down here. Well, what's happened is I've just arched up my lower back. I'm going to actually show you that from another angle so you can see it. I'm supposed to keep my lower back flat on the floor at all times on this one. And if I do that, what's going to happen now is I'm going to start to open everything up in the back here as I draw it back. This is really good posture as long as you don't have anybody who's cheating in the class. What some people do is you tell them start to bring your knee toward the floor. And they do. But they find out they have a limit, so then all of a sudden they say knee to the floor. Okay. Isn't that good? No, it's not, because the lower back is off the floor. Okay? So you can see my lower back. Okay. Now, come back here, my lower back stays flat. I start to draw. Sure, I can use one or two hands on this one. And that's about it. That's about all I'm going to get out of it. Now, some people are going to be able to touch the knee to the floor. The knee starts to go just outside the rib, close to the body, and all the way back. And that's fine. Those people have better range of motion than I do. But you've got to look at what your own range of motion is. And you've got to also look at the gift of elongated joint capsules. Good. And we're going to release. And we switch to the other side. I figure I'll come back to this one again, just to show you this one a little bit better from this angle. My lower back I'm keeping flat, and you don't want to force anything. You don't want to. Sure, this helps to open up the hips, and it helps to open up some of the back of the legs as well. But you're trying to draw the knee toward the floor, but keep the lower back completely flat. Good. We're going to release right there. The next one we're going to go into is a spider. So just done half spider. We're going into spider now. I bring both legs up this way. Now, right here, I start to draw my knees toward the floor. And lastly, if you want to get creative on this one, you can rock. You're going to see some of your students roll all the way over. You want to work it back and forth nice and slow. This is another good one to work on the breath. For example, inhale to one side, exhale to the other. And you're going to occasionally get that student who rolls back and forth really fast and has no problem balancing themselves at all. The only thing is, with rolling back and forth really fast, you can't dial your breath into the movement. Okay. The next one I thought you should see would be a couple of spinal twists. I usually do spinal twists right at the end, at least the supine ones. There's always some spinal twists mixed during the class anyway. But here's an example of one. This one I'm going to bring the knees close together, and we're going to do a spinal twist in this direction. I've got both of my knees. This is a lying spinal twist right here. And I'm going to start to turn my head in the opposite direction. Most people are going to find this one to be relatively easy. Spinal twist. We're going to come back. I'm not holding these as long as I usually do in class. We're going over to the other side. Especially if it's just before meditation, you want to make them hold a spinal twist a little bit longer, but not force anything. You want to have the shoulders making contact with the floor. Both shoulders. Okay, we're going to come back. Thought you might want to see another variation of a spinal twist. This is one of my favorites. It's a partial recline twist. Okay, the knee is in partial recline, this one elevated. When both knees are this way, this position is called partial recline as well. But here we go. Arms straight out this way. And now I start to bring the left knee across the body. And I'm using the right arm, just the weight of the right arm. Sometimes
depending on who a student is, they're going to be able to hit the floor with this knee, no problem. Your head, if you can, opposite direction of the knee. And come back to center.
What you want to do is you want to caution your students, especially on this one, especially the ones who've been referred to you by a chiropractor or that have had previous back problems. The first twist we did was much more gentle than this one. You don't push this one till you hear the snap, crackle, and pop. Some people think that that is a good thing, and sometimes it is, but you don't want to play chiropractor. So it's one of those things where I wouldn't suggest to them that they force it that far. We come back here and extend the leg out, arms out right here, and start to turn the lower body again. Some of them are going to feel pinches in the lumbar region in different places, or also in the intercostals. Good, and we're going to stop there. This is also one that sometimes on the second time round, on this particular one, for example, you've done right, and then you've gone left. Now, if you decided to go back to right again, I'll just give you an example. You decided to go back to right, as far as your body, turning the body over to the right side, you're going to notice, and some of your students are going to be very responsive to it, that they get a lot more range of motion the second time around. But again, you want to caution them to be careful. So bring the arm out this way, and this arm out this way, coming across.
You don't want to force anything, but if you can, and you want to put a little bit more on it, that's fine. I'm not going to hold this one very long. We're going to switch back, and one more time, over to the other side. Switching, I'm going to start to turn in the opposite direction. Okay, and we're going to come back. And at this point, we've concluded this series, and we're going to get ready for stage-by-stage relaxation.
Okay, now we're going to go into the last segment of our exercise program, which is the relaxation or meditation segment. Tonight we're going to do a stage-by-stage relaxation. And what we're doing here is, a lot of times we don't think of the body and mind as a singular unit. We tend to think of them separately. We're not, maybe we got to go somewhere, so we're pushing our bodies because our minds are telling us that we have to rush. We're not paying attention to how the body is feeling. And so what we're going to do tonight is we're going to take different parts of the body and seclude them. Pay attention to how that part of the body is feeling, and then we're going to relax. So we're going to, for example, name a body part, maybe the toes. We're going to inhale. I'm going to ask you to be aware of any tension or pressure in that particular area. And then when you exhale, I want you to relax and release tension. So you're not going to purposely tighten the area. You're just going to make your mind aware of how your body is feeling. So what we're going to do is we're going to lie on the floor. You can use a blanket if you want. Roll it up as a bolster. You may want to either take this and put this behind your head. Some people like to take this and as they're lying down, put it underneath their knees. Some people like to take the blanket and actually cover themselves. You should feel comfortably warm when you're doing this. So let's begin. I'm going to lie down onto the mat. Come down very gently as you lie down. Position your head comfortably. Relax the body onto your mat. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to just let your limbs fall gently to the floor and relax. I want you to take nice, comfortable inhales from the stomach, feeling it rise up to the collarbone. Exhaling completely, feeling the breath come from the collarbone back down to the stomach. As you inhale, your stomach will expand, filling the chest with oxygen, pushing the lungs forward, massaging the kidneys and liver. And as you exhale, you'll feel the stomach and the navel gravitating down toward the lower spine in your back. So let's relax, keeping a nice rhythmic breath. I want you to concentrate on your toes and inhale, focusing on any tension or pressure. And as you exhale, relax. Bring your attention now to the arches of your feet as you inhale, taking a nice deep breath. And as you exhale, you relax. Focusing now on your heels. Inhale. Let the feet feel heavy on the mat, almost as if there are weights. And as you exhale, relax your feet. Focus your attention now to your shins. Inhale as you breathe into the shins. Exhale and relax. Maintain that easy rhythmic breathing as you now bring your attention to your calf muscles. Again, focusing on any tension or tightness as you inhale. Imagine the calf muscles almost like a balloon. As you inhale, the balloon inflates. And as you exhale, the balloon deflates, taking away with it all the tension and pressures. Relax. Concentrate now on your thighs. As you breathe into the thighs, inhaling comfortably. Exhale and release. Relaxing, feeling no tension and no tightness. Concentrate now on your lower back. Breathe into the lower spine. As you exhale, release all tension and relax. Focus now on your abdomen. As you inhale, feel the abdomen rise. As you exhale, feel the navel sink toward the spine, taking with it any tension. on the breath, keeping it nice and even. Focusing now on your chest. As you inhale, imagine the chest expanding. The heart is opening. As you exhale, relax. Bringing your attention to your middle and upper back. Concentrating as you inhale on any tightness that you may feel. As you exhale, let it melt away and relax. Concentrating on your shoulders. Breathe into the shoulders. Release the tightness and stiffness that they may have accumulated during the day. Be aware of them now. Exhale and let those shoulders sink into your mat as you relax. Concentrate your attention now to the back of your neck and inhale comfortably. Exhaling, you relax. Focus on the back of your head. Inhaling into the back of the head. Feel it resting gently, very light. Tensions are gone. As you exhale, you relax. Bringing your attention now to your forehead. Inhale. Be aware at this point whether you have any frowning or any wrinkles into the forehead, and if you do, let them smooth out. Let the tension melt away. Relax as you exhale. Eyelids are soft, resting comfortably as you inhale and exhale. Breathing into your ears as you inhale, keeping that nice steady breathing. Exhale and relax. Bringing your attention to your cheeks. Inhale. Cheeks are soft. Exhale. Relax. Inhale. Lips are soft. No tension. Exhale. Relax. Focus on your jaw. Inhale. Jaw falls slack. Exhale. Relax. Focusing on your upper arms and forearms. Inhale as you breathe into them. Again, imagining a balloon inflating, and as it deflates, it takes away tension and tightness. Relax. Concentrating on your wrist as you inhale, relaxing the wrist. Exhale. Bringing your attention to your fingers, breathing into all the tiny bones in the fingers, relaxing them as you exhale. Third eye located right in between your eyebrows, the eye of wisdom. Open your inner eye, look within your body, connecting mind to body, scanning the different areas that we have just gone over to concentrate on any tensions or pressure that might have been there. Exhaling and releasing that tension. Your body should now feel very heavy. You should feel at peace, almost as if it is melting into the mat. You're just sinking into the earth. Continue to inhale and exhale comfortably for a few more moments. Enjoying that feeling of relaxation. Still closed, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, bringing the circulation into the fingers and toes, waking them up. Open and close your eyes slowly 3 times, very slowly, almost as if it's a flutter. Roll over gently to your right side into a fetal position. Again, you're still maintaining the even breathing. We roll onto the right side so that we can elevate the heart on the left side. We're resting for a few moments so that we can get our blood pressure back to normal, as it sometimes lowers 10 to 20 points during the relaxation segment. When you feel ready, use your left palm to gently push you back up into a seated position. Again, take a few moments to sit upright. Bring your palms onto your knees. Close your eyes one more time. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. And that concludes our relaxation segment. Namaste.